On July 24th of 1978, 12 Dalits were brutally murdered by the organized attacks of the caste Hindus, and 2,000 of their houses were burned down to ashes. Since I come from a Dalit background, I have very well understood. I was also experiencing the atrocities on Dalits, and I saw the caste Hindus attacking the Dalits, and I felt that it was very difficult for me to really even to see the dead bodies, burned bodies of the Dalits. From that time onwards, we all friends gathered together and we decided that we have to work for the upliftment of the Dalits. It is in this way, in 1980, we formed IRDS. The main focus was to mobilize, educate and mobilize the Dalits to fight for their basic needs. And then second was to defend themselves from the organized attacks of the caste Hindus. In many Dalit villages, the Dalits were not allowed to walk with chappals. They were forbidden to take drinking water. They were served tea in separate glasses. When we started to educate and mobilize the Dalits around these issues, all these inhuman practices have slowly disappeared. See, when we were organizing the Dalits for basic needs, things were changing progressively. But at the same time, we noticed that there is a large-scale migration of the Dalits to cities in search of job. What we realized was the only strength of the Dalits was the community living. Because of this migration, we noticed that this strength is being reduced. And only then we came to know that there is a land which is called Panchami land, which is meant for the Dalits, which was given to the British. And we as organization started to mobilize our Dalits to really reclaim this land so that they find employment opportunities in their own village itself. And we started to train the young people on how to locate the Panchami land, how to get information, documentary evidences, and organize the village people to select the beneficiaries, especially the women beneficiaries, to be the landowners. So it is how only from 2007 onwards, we started to have collective petitions in many villages to really negotiate with the officials. Panchami lands, according to the law, are to be distributed to the Dalits. So which means we are fighting the case of reclamation of Panchami land to the Dalits legally if the state feels that we are confronting the state, it is not our responsibility, first of all. And secondly, the villages where the Panchami lands are going to be occupied and used by the communities, you have to really have a lot of preparatory work. You have to convince them, you have to really make them to support each other's initiatives. That kind of solidarity has to be done so that the people around feel that we are legally fighting this issue. That is our strategy, to pressurize the state to withdraw its policy, to consolidate the land and to hand over the corporate. Only through this kind of organized and peaceful struggles you can really win. I think there are possibilities. Only if you take up arms, this confrontation develops. You see, when you talk about land rights, one is to have access to land, The other aspect is to have control over these lands to meet the needs of the communities and the nature. Once you have the land, what next is the question. So use the land to meet your food needs and the needs of the nature. So it is in this context we are promoting organic farming initiatives. You see, for that we have to renew the traditional practices which were existing. From the available materials you have around your place, you use them to develop your farming. Secondly, to reclaim the seeds, because the traditional seeds are systematically destroyed by the corporates, and to preserve the seeds for the future. We had seen that many number of traditional crops are being developed in our area, which I think will be developed much more in the coming future. You see, first of all, in the last 40 years, because of more and more usage of chemicals, the biodiversity of the soil had been very much destroyed. So it will take at least 2 to 3 years to reclaim the original biodiversity of the soil. We start with small pieces of land and we go on extending it. Because whenever we talk about food, we always talk about rice and wheat. Because rice and wheat happen to be export crops. But it is not rice and wheat which is the staple food of all our people. So now slowly we are re-energizing it, renewing the protection of all this kind of traditional food system, traditional seeds. Yeah, I think it is, I go together with the same kind of thinking. We oppose the present neoliberal economic globalization because it is destroying the organic link the people had with nature. Because of that, there is large scale poverty and hunger, the growing climate, global warming issues. It is not just enough to oppose things, there is a need to develop alternative models of development. I think what the people in France, some are thinking, we are also thinking in the same direction. Now you see, in the present neoliberal economic globalization, I don't think the young people can be really accommodated. The young generations can really go faster than the previous generation. So in this situation, what I feel is it is always better for the young generation to go back to the communities, to renew the rural economy. This is a way of really opposing the corporates. I think this is not the feeling only in India. I think all over the world, the neoliberal economic globalization is impacting the lives of ordinary people. I think there is a need to develop a kind of solidarity at the global level to really work in this direction of promoting alternative model of development. I think that is in this line we have to all work together.